7 Action News investigator Heather Catallo has been covering the trial all day. And Heather, what did both sides have to say in the case?
Well, some described the government's opening statements as shock and awe. They showed undercover video of Bernard Kilpatrick talking about an alleged bribe. They played wiretaps, and they showed text messages that said things like, "It's my time to get paid." But Bobby Ferguson's attorney told the jury there is no Kilpatrick enterprise. There was no Kilpatrick enterprise, and just wait until you hear those government witnesses start to change their stories. Bags of cash allegedly delivered to Detroit's former mayor, a city contractor with unprecedented access to the mayor's office and using nonprofits like a personal ATM. Those are just a few of the allegations Assistant U.S. Attorney Mark Chutko unveiled in opening statements today. Chutko described how the cash transactions in Kwame Kilpatrick's bank account as a state legislator were only outgoing. But once he became mayor of Detroit, the cash started flowing into the account to the tune of more than $540,000. The Fed showed the jury a video of Bernard Kilpatrick talking to former Synagro executive James Rosendahl about $2,500 in cash offered during a meeting in a restaurant. Chutko also talked about how Bobby Ferguson allegedly forced his way into city water department deals with high-profile contractors like Tony Suave. The prosecution told the jury that former water department director Victor Mercado was in on the conspiracy, even going so far as to sweep his office for listening devices.
A strong opening statement by them and a wonderful use of graphics and demonstrative exhibits on the screen in front of the jury.
I'm not going to comment on the evidence. I've been consistent about that all the way through. So
Bernard Kilpatrick's attorney John Shea told the court the government is relying on dirty witnesses who have been bought and paid for, and that his client earned the money he was paid. He says the video was shown out of context. Mercado's lawyer talked for more than an hour, denying that his client was part of any conspiracy, describing one time when Mercado freaked out while attending a business meeting on Suave's yacht. The defense ended strong with Ferguson attorney Gerald Evelyn, who called the claims that Ferguson's business started with Kwame Kilpatrick absolute poppycock. Evelyn said Ferguson's biggest city deals all came from the Archer administration and described a man who at 17 had to take over his father's business and battle bigger non-minority construction companies for work.
That was one of the best things he did do, was to talk about his struggles and what it was like to be a minority contractor, to take over his dad's business when he was a young man. And of course he had friends. That's what happens. You know, there's nothing wrong with having friends in high places.
Now, Gerald Evelyn told the jury that this is going to be one of the hardest things they've ever had to do. He asked them to watch out for quality versus quantity. He told them that the government is going to inundate them with huge numbers of witnesses and pieces of evidence, but he said some of those witnesses will not be so-called quality witnesses. He said they're going to be able to show how the stories on the stand don't add up. We'll see what happens when the testimony starts on Monday. Reporting live at the federal courthouse in downtown Detroit, I'm Heather Catallo, 7 Action News. Diana, back to you.
Heather, what can we expect in Monday's testimony?
Well, we do know that the government's going to go about this chronologically. They're going to, such a massive case, they're going to start back with Kwame Kilpatrick's days in Lansing and move it towards his power here in Detroit. And they're really going to focus on all of those alleged cash transactions that they brought up today.
All right. Thank you, Heather.